The city hums with electricity like a giant breathing machine. Lights in apartment windows, traffic signals blinking, elevators rising and falling, refrigerators vibrating softly in kitchens. Most people never think about it. They assume the grid will always exist, that energy will flow, that order will remain intact. This assumption is dangerous. History proves that complex systems collapse not in dramatic explosions but in gradual failures, cascading disruptions that begin with small warnings and end in total blackout. When electricity disappears, urban environments transform within hours. Water pumps stop. ATMs fail. Payment systems freeze. Communication networks vanish. People rush to stores, shelves empty, tempers rise. The illusion of stability dissolves. Understanding this process scientifically is the first step toward survival. A total blackout is not science fiction. Engineers and emergency planners study grid vulnerabilities constantly. Power systems rely on centralized infrastructure, generation plants, transmission lines, substations. These components operate in delicate balance. A single failure can trigger domino effects. If a major substation goes offline, surrounding regions lose power. Operators attempt to reroute electricity, but overloads occur. Protective systems shut down sections of the grid to prevent damage. This is rational engineering, yet it produces widespread outages. Urban populations accustomed to constant energy become vulnerable immediately. Water distribution depends on electricity. Modern cities pump water from reservoirs through pressurized systems. Without power, faucets run dry. People underestimate this dependency. They imagine stockpiling food but forget hydration. Human survival requires water within days. Dehydration impairs cognitive function, decision-making, and physical strength. In a blackout scenario, access to clean water becomes the primary challenge. Rivers and lakes may exist, but urban contamination risks are significant. Industrial runoff, sewage overflow, and bacterial pathogens create invisible dangers. Boiling water is effective, yet boiling requires energy, another resource lost during grid failure. Communication networks collapse rapidly. Cellular towers rely on electricity and backup generators with limited fuel. When generators exhaust supplies, networks die. Social coordination disappears. Information becomes scarce. Rumors spread faster than facts. Panic accelerates behavioral breakdown. This psychological dimension is often misunderstood. Survival is not only physical, it is cognitive and social. Humans depend on shared information and cooperative structures. When those structures vanish, individual decision-making becomes critical. Urban environments pose unique risks during blackouts. High-rise buildings rely on elevators. When power fails, residents trapped on upper floors must descend on foot. Stairwells become crowded. Injuries occur. Elderly and disabled individuals face disproportionate danger. Fire safety systems may fail. Emergency lighting operates briefly but eventually extinguishes. Darkness amplifies anxiety. Sound echoes through concrete corridors. People misinterpret noises, imagining threats that may not exist. Situational awareness becomes essential. Food supply chains operate on just-in-time logistics. Supermarkets receive daily deliveries rather than maintaining large reserves. A blackout interrupts transportation and refrigeration. Perishable goods spoil. Shelves empty within days. Urban populations accustomed to convenience confront scarcity. Prices rise in informal markets. Barter systems emerge. Goods once taken for granted acquire new value: batteries, clean water, medication, portable fuel. Understanding economic adaptation during crises helps individuals prepare mentally and practically. Hidden science explains why blackouts escalate. Electrical grids use alternating current synchronized across vast regions. If frequency deviations occur, caused by sudden demand spikes or equipment failure, operators must reduce load. They disconnect areas to stabilize the system. This is known as load shedding. While necessary, it creates widespread outages. The public often misinterprets these events as malicious or political, but they stem from engineering realities. Complex networks require balance. When balance fails, protective mechanisms activate. Evidence from past disasters illustrates these principles. Historical blackouts in major cities demonstrated rapid social and infrastructural disruption. Hospitals switched to generators, but medical resources dwindled. Transportation halted. Crime rates fluctuated unpredictably, sometimes decreasing as communities cooperated, other times increasing due to opportunistic behavior. Human responses vary. Preparation and knowledge influence outcomes more than luck. Survival implications are clear. Urban residents should understand basic preparedness: water storage, non-perishable food, first aid knowledge, and communication plans. Stockpiling does not require extreme hoarding. Small reserves create resilience. A few days of supplies can bridge initial chaos until systems stabilize. Learning to purify water using filtration or boiling methods is essential. Knowing how to navigate without digital maps matters. Mental readiness reduces panic. Escalation scenarios must be considered rationally. A blackout might last hours, days, or weeks depending on cause. Natural disasters, cyber attacks, or equipment failures all present possibilities. Engineers and security experts continuously evaluate risks. Public awareness should align with factual understanding, not sensationalism. Survival preparation is prudent, not paranoid. Urban life offers advantages: density, resources, infrastructure, but those advantages depend on functioning systems. Transitioning from analysis to practical guidance requires discipline. Individuals should identify critical needs: water, shelter, safety, information. Water storage containers should be clean and sealed. Rotation prevents stagnation. Non-perishable foods provide nutrition without refrigeration. Battery-powered radios offer emergency updates. Simple tools, flashlights, basic medical supplies, improve autonomy. Community connections matter. Neighbors can share resources and information. Isolation increases vulnerability. The psychological dimension deserves emphasis. Crises generate stress. Decision-making under pressure becomes difficult. Training mental resilience helps. Breathing techniques, structured problem-solving, and emotional regulation reduce impulsive reactions. Survival is not solely about equipment. It is about cognition. Urban environments can be harsh, but humans possess adaptability. History demonstrates recovery after disasters. Cities rebuild. Systems evolve. Understanding urban blackout risk does not require fear. It requires respect for complexity. Modern civilization depends on interdependent networks. Electricity powers water, communication, transportation, and commerce. When one component fails, others suffer. Preparing for disruption acknowledges reality. It empowers individuals to act wisely. Survival strategies are tools, not predictions of doom. Urban survival during a total blackout relies on understanding systems rather than relying on assumptions. Electricity is the foundation of modern infrastructure, yet most people treat it as invisible. When power disappears, secondary systems fail in predictable sequences. Water pumps shut down within hours. Communication networks degrade. Financial transactions halt. This does not mean immediate chaos, but it creates uncertainty. Humans respond to uncertainty in different ways. Some cooperate, others panic. Knowledge reduces vulnerability. Water is the first critical resource. Urban water systems depend on electric pumps that maintain pressure. Without power, Faucets may still contain residual water for a short time, but supply will diminish. People often misunderstand this process, believing stored water in pipes will last indefinitely. It will not. Gravity-fed systems exist in some locations, but they are exceptions. Preparation involves storing potable water in containers and understanding purification methods. Boiling removes biological contaminants, but requires heat. Chemical purification tablets offer an alternative. Filtration systems provide another layer of safety. The principle is redundancy. Multiple methods increase survival probability. Food security follows water. Supermarkets operate on limited inventory because modern logistics prioritize efficiency. Deliveries arrive daily rather than storing large reserves. During a blackout, transportation disruptions and refrigeration failures reduce available stock quickly. Panic buying accelerates shortages. Shelves empty. Prices rise in informal exchanges. People unfamiliar with barter or alternative economic behavior experience shock. Survival does not require hoarding extreme quantities of food. A modest reserve of non-perishable items, rice, canned goods, dried products, creates a buffer. Understanding caloric needs helps prevent waste. Humans can survive weeks without abundant food, but mental clarity declines without nutrition. Security concerns arise in urban environments during crises. Crime statistics from past disasters show varied patterns. Some areas experience increased opportunistic theft, while others witness community solidarity. Generalizations are misleading. Human behavior depends on local conditions. Well-lit areas lose visibility during blackouts, increasing risk. Awareness of surroundings becomes essential. Simple strategies: traveling in groups, avoiding unnecessary movement after dark, securing living spaces, reduce exposure. Security is not paranoia. It is risk management. Communication breakdowns amplify misunderstanding. Cellular networks rely on power and infrastructure. Backup systems provide limited duration, but eventual failure is common. Without digital communication, information spreads through informal channels: neighbors, community groups, radio broadcasts. Misinformation can be harmful. Rumors escalate fear. Verifying facts becomes critical. Battery-powered radios and emergency broadcasts offer reliable updates. Understanding that not every unverified claim is true prevents poor decision-making. Transportation systems also fail. Traffic signals stop functioning. Road congestion increases. Public transit halts. People attempting to leave cities create bottlenecks. Authorities may prioritize emergency routes. Individuals should consider sheltering in place during initial stages rather than traveling. Urban environments, despite risks, also contain resources. Moving without purpose increases danger. Strategic patience is often wiser than impulsive action. Medical considerations are frequently overlooked. Hospitals depend on electricity for life support equipment, refrigeration of medications, and digital record systems. Generators provide temporary power, but fuel supplies are finite. Non-critical procedures may be postponed. Emergency care continues, yet capacity is limited. Individuals with